Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and I'm Michael Miller. I am here with the most gorgeous woman I have seen in years, and it's Genavieve Paige Villar.
Yes.
We get it good?
Yes, you did.
And tell us the name of your organization, your company.
So I own two businesses. It's called Private Label by Genavieve and Relove, which is a luxury consignment store.
People want to know when they go into what causes somebody to open a business, whether it's all brick and mortar or online. What caused you to open this business?
I started this business when I was 20 years old. I started online. It took me 6 months to build my website by myself because, of course, I was 20, getting quotes of 20,000 to build a website with 20,000 SKUs. And I said, absolutely not. So I did everything myself. And my boyfriend at the time, who was now my husband, joked and said that I needed to just launch this website, even if it wasn't ready, just because I needed to start making sales. And my passion has always been fashion. I have other passions. I love medicine. I love real estate, but I'm a woman. I love fashion. So I decided to open this business thinking I was just going to be a boutique selling beautiful handmade, artisan made clothing, shoes, bags, accessories. But shortly thereafter, after launching my website, I was getting sales quickly. And within 6 months, I opened my first brick and mortar. And again, I thought I was going to be doing artisan made. I would travel to Bali, to Thailand, to India, all these different countries, bringing things in. But ultimately, what people ended up liking are the things that I would design. So that's how I became a designer. And that is what people know me for now.
So Genevieve, how did you get to be able to design clothing? What was it that caused you at some young age to be able to go, I can do that?
Well, I didn't study fashion. I studied psychology with a minor in international business. So it's not something that I knew off the top of my head that I was going to become a designer one day. It just happened that way. My passion really, I like making money doing something that I love. I know they say that, but I really did fall into something that I love. And I don't know. I don't know how to draw. I don't know how to sew. It's just something that I think you're born with. And I just did it.
There's some little girl watching right now,
yeah,
who's thinking, how did she do it? She didn't realize she had it,
yeah,
right? But there's something that you did
mm-hmm.
where you started realizing, hey, I've got this talent. So tell us about that aha moment.
Growing up, I was in pageants. I modeled. And I think traveling, I've met a lot of different manufacturers. It's about the connections that you're making, and meeting these different manufacturers. I was able to start playing around and dabbling with my own designs. And when I noticed that people liked my designs, that's when I really focused. So, this little girl that is watching, I guess if she does have that passion, whether it be fashion or, whatever her passion is, I think that she has to find different outlets of how to get creative and be different in the field that they want to go into.
Let's talk a little bit about when you had that idea and you designed it and then somebody bought it.
Mm-hmm.
What was that moment like?
I wasn't ready to sell it. It was a line of different designs of dresses that I was doing. I had it in the store. I remember I was going on vacation with my husband and I set these items aside and I told my mom, don't sell it because I need to do a professional shoot when I get back. By the time I land, I don't even know where. I was probably in Thailand. I land in Thailand and my mom says, somebody wants to buy what you designed. And I said that I wasn't ready to sell it. And that just continued to happen. The moment I designed something and it's sitting there on the rack, getting steamed, I haven't even photographed it and they're already sold basically.
And so how do people find you?
Well, I mean, I specialize in prom and bridal. So the girls on social media, I'll post something and one it girl at one high school wears it and that's it. The whole high school knows about me. And then same thing with bridal. So I do a lot of custom dresses for women that are getting married. And once they see an Italian, dress, Italian wedding, and I get a really good photography from that, it kind of feeds off itself.
I think we're going to put up the website address now so people can go to the website, they can find your stuff. I
think you will find me, you'll see more of, since it is custom, you'll really get to know who I am as a brand on Instagram.
So, and what's your handle?
It's Private Label by Genavieve on Instagram.
Okay. And they can find it?
Yes.
And you're there, are you modeling the clothes?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay. And so let's talk about how you get repeat business.
Yeah.
So tell us about that process.
I think the most important thing, which I said a little while ago, is building relationships, building a community, and not just, you know, they're not just your customer, they end up becoming my family. A lot of my clients will tell me their whole life story just because they feel comfortable telling me, and vice versa. I mean, I've had, you know, I've been married for a while. I've been with my husband 10 years. We have 3 boys, and all my clients are, oh my God, I love your kids.
You've been married for 10 years?
I've been with my husband for 10 years.
Mom, so what do you think about that? Oh, there you go. All right.
So I think just being real and having these moments that I wanted my customers to feel like they have a relationship with me. I'm not just a business owner.
And they do.
Yeah. So that's how you get repeat customers.
So let's talk about some of your biggest challenges that you've either overcome or say, hey, I'm done with that. So tell us about that.
Well, the first challenge obviously was COVID. I think the fashion industry, or any industry in general, but specifically fashion, I feel like shifted overnight. No one was attending events. People wanted fast fashion, something quick and easy they can order on Amazon or Shein or Zara. So I really had to pivot, and that's when I really focused on my custom designs, because although they wanted the fast fashion, they're not going to wear fast fashion to a special event.
And you bring up a good point. Is if you can have something that is unique, that's personalized, that perhaps is one of only a few, they're more likely to go back again than to go shopping.
Of course. And nowadays with social media, people don't want to wear things more than once, and they want something custom because everybody has access to all the other websites.
I have no problem wearing the same shirt every couple of weeks.
It's
all right?
very different for a woman. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
they want something custom. And no one in Miami, I have very small group of competitors, I would say, because no one does. I feel like it's an industry that's dying out. It's not something that you can find easily. Custom clothing is why I'm so good at it, and why it's my niche is because everybody knows that I do bridal and prom really well.
So if somebody says, I love your design, but the price you gave me is just out of sight.
Right.
And now there's young women listening, all right? And guys, what does she say to the customer who says, oh, this is way more than what I thought?
It doesn't happen often because I do think my prices are very competitive to the competitors that I do compete with. My prices are reasonable, especially for what they're getting. However, if that does happen, you know, I try to, I don't know, since it doesn't happen often, they know that the value of what they're getting. They're getting the price that I give them includes fabric, it includes alterations, it includes the dress fitting perfectly when they walk out that door. So for the client that says they can't afford it, I mean, my luxury consignment business, they can find a dress off the rack that is less expensive.
So that's one of the options.
Right, which is why I started that business.
So here are a couple options. I can design one with you, figuring out what you want.
Right.
And we get it altered and you're going to love it.
Or my luxury consignment business that I just started, which I do custom clothing. My clients that make a custom dress, I sold the dress one time, but I'll resell it again. So they'll get some money back.
Wait, say that again. You designed a dress for somebody.
You're right.
And then
they can bring the dress back to me to be resold.
Because they wore it the one time.
Right.
For real?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Once I sell it, then they get their commission.
Yes. That's tremendous.
Yeah.
So you're right off of 87th Avenue, 132nd Street in the Falls warehouse district, if you will.
Yes.
So tell us about, if we go to the website, do you have pictures on the inside?
That is a tricky question to answer because I'm actually in the middle of moving from the location that I've been in for 7 years into a different location, which I don't know which address you have here.
Oh, okay, but in the Falls, but they can go to Instagram or to
You'll see, yes, they'll see all the changes that are happening right now.
So what does your business look like in 5 years?
My business in 5 years, I definitely want to grow even more in bridal, in custom clothing, prom dresses, pageant girls, if you need a dress for pageants. But then also the luxury consignment business. I just started this a month and a half ago. The excitement that I'm getting from my clients is really, really nice. I'm making it unique in the sense that I'm taking custom or pre-loved wedding dresses. I'm taking veils, which is, I say that it's special because no one else in Miami does that. I think there's only one other business that might take wedding dresses on consignment. So I just want growth overall. with my two businesses.
How about 7 years out? Tell me what it looks like.
Well, I own investment properties, so I want to keep buying properties. I want to work hard, obviously, but I want to make a lot of money. So whether it be buying properties as investments and continue, I have Section 8 homes, I have Airbnb homes. So obviously I want my passive income to grow, but I love fashion and I love, my passion is fashion. So just growth overall.
Tell us where you grew up and where you went to school.
I was born and raised in Miami. I'm Cuban French. I went to Southwest High School. I graduated high school in about a year and a half instead of 4. I was skipping grades and taking dual enrollment and virtual school. I was that girl that didn't fit in because she just wanted to get ahead. And by the time I was 18, I had my bachelor's. Usually you graduate with your bachelor's at 21. So I was always just go, go, go. And then that's why I've had my business now almost 20 years. I'll be 30 in January. So because I started at 20.
I knew we'd get the age out of her at some point.
Yeah.
So were you bored in school, or you just said, I got to get this done so I can get to the other side?
I didn't fit in because I wanted to get ahead. My grandfather used to joke with me that when I would play poker, I was tramposa, which means that I would cheat my way into making more money somehow. I just liked money and I was motivated with however I could get it, and school wasn't doing that for me.
So we know a lot of money has come to Miami in the last couple of years. Many huge businesses. Mm-hmm. Can you see the difference in your business because of that?
I do see the difference, but I also see a lot of the changes that I've been making myself on social media platforms. I feel like in the last 5 years, social media has changed a lot of how you operate a business. So I feel like I do see that money coming in, but I also see that I've had to keep up with continuing to grow my platforms.
So would you say that most people your age are intimately involved with social media?
Yes.
It's become mainstream, not just become, I think they're absolutes, mm-hmm. that you have to do that to communicate.
Yes.
And just to stay together.
Relevant. Mm-hmm.
Right now, a majority of people say they get their news from social media.
Yeah.
We've been in the distribution of content for 50 years. And what we've had to do is find a niche that is different than it was 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. So is there something that you need to do or want to do with your business so you continue to shine? You won't be like, quote, everybody else? Right.
I think that as a business owner, you have to be really involved. And in my case, because I'm selling clothes and dresses in particular, I feel like people like to see the face behind the brand, which is me. I've been pregnant for the last 4 years, so it's been really difficult. But I think now in order for me to continue to grow, I do need to be more present, me personally, on social media and push myself, because ultimately people are buying from a person. They're not buying because I'm a brand.
And we see that when people are out there all the time, at some point we've seen a frequent, oh, that's so-and-so. Mm-hmm. And that's really right. Because of what...
I think that's super important, especially when you're building the relationships with people walking through the door. They know who I am as a person already, so they feel more comfortable to buy from me. They know that I'm a mom of 3, and again, those relationships that you build are important because they're going to be those repeat customers, and them seeing me on camera, on social media, on Instagram, talking in my stories, being active and engaging with the audience is the most important thing.
You mentioned before that you used to be in some pageants. Tell us about that.
That was years ago. I was Miss South Florida Teen USA. I don't even know, 15, 14 years old. And I competed at Miss Florida.
So. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was. It was an interesting...
What a great smile. Alex, you look at her. She's smiling like crazy right now. So you shifted out of that, or do you have a desire to help young people do that?
I do. I feel like, there's this people say that people that are in pageants are, whatever they say, bad things they want to say about pageants, but ultimately it teaches you confidence. It teaches you how to, do well with public speaking. It teaches you how to do interviews. So I did learn a lot from pageants, and my mom, I'm sure, paid a lot of money in public speaking coaches. So I do love helping girls, and to this day, I'm filming something on Monday at my store with another TV segment, and I'm getting models for that. And I just love helping girls that are trying to grow in that industry. And since I've done it, I have a couple tips.
So often people that like to give like that had mentors as they were growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about some of your mentors?
I had one pageant coach. Her name was Fatima. I had another pageant coach. She was my public speaking coach. This was like 15 years ago. I don't even remember her name, but she would go to my house and she would just teach me, when you answer a question, you have to say 3 reasons why you're answering the question. It's old little tips that she gave me, but I don't know. I think it was also all self-taught. I was a dancer my whole life, so the confidence on stage also came from that.
So now here you are, you're sharing your soul when you design clothes for people.
Yeah.
Again, so what is that like when you have the prospect, the client comes in,
Mm-hmm.
and you're showing them the different things? Is there a point where you say, they love this and they're going to buy this dress way before they've actually said it?
A lot of the times I have my designs displayed on a mannequin, and maybe all they just want to change is the color or the size, because maybe the mannequin was too small and they need to go up a size. So a lot of the times it's sold immediately just by looking at the mannequin.
So typically if somebody walks in your store, on average, how long would it be from the time they go, that's the one, and you measure up?
Quickly. A lot of the times it happens very quickly. Yeah. Or they see something on Instagram that I posted and they'll walk through the door, show me that item, and it's sold, right? I just take measurements and that's it. So
are some of the brides and bridesmaids late and coming to your store and they go, I don't know what to do, I'm lost?
Yes.
It's coming up.
Yes. I do have a lot of those. I'll have clients that send me very long voice notes of describing what they want on FaceTime or a voice note or whatever, a Zoom. And I'm like, no, you need to come into the store. Let's draw it. And what I mean by draw is they grab a picture of one dress, a picture of another dress, a picture of another dress. And I call it like build a dress, kind of like build a bear, but build your dress. Since I don't draw. So I think it's visually better for them.
Because you don't draw.
Yeah.
So a little girl out there, she doesn't have to be an artist.
No.
She can
you
find
just have
somebody.
To be savvy. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You just grab pictures, kind of like when you pull out magazine to like do interior design in your home, and you cut out pieces of magazines that you like, but with a dress.
So what is it like when as you're getting ready to continue building your business, about surrounding yourself with people
Mm-hmm.
that have a vision, that can take instructions from you without getting like crazy,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, I'm going to do the best I can. What does that person look like?
Repeat
as
that.
far as their skill. If you're going to hire somebody to assist you,
Uh-huh.
tell us about their skills.
Everything I do is international. I work with a lot of different manufacturers in Colombia and India. So mostly everything is done overseas. I submit my orders with my manufacturers overseas.
Perfect.
And they make it and then they ship it to me.
So that young person out there says, it doesn't have to be the old way, right? You don't have to be in the back with a pair of scissors and threading or sewing.
No.
Right?
No. That would be very difficult.
So what's your mom think about your success?
Well, I think she should be very proud. I've come a long way. Yeah.
Yeah, mom's nodding her head, right? And you have 3 children?
I do. 3 boys.
Wow.
Yep.
That's your hands full. What are their ages?
I have a 3-year-old, an almost 2-year-old, and a 5-month-old.
Wow.
People joke we don't have a TV, but I was trying to get the girl.
I think, well, anyway. So good luck with that. So again, tell us about the names that you've decided to use for your business.
Mm-hmm. Private label. At that time, because I would buy, when I came up with that name, I would buy from different artisans and different manufacturers. So private label in the sense that I wasn't necessarily buying from brands. I was buying from or sourcing from different manufacturers from all over the world. I think that's what made me stand out when I first opened, or to this day, because I wasn't buying from, you go to LA to a trade show or Vegas to a trade show and buying, what they had to offer. I would actually fly internationally to bring all these different manufacturers.
So again, so it's Genevieve and Relove.
It's private label by Genevieve and Relove.
So tell us about that Relove again.
Relove is a luxury consignment store. So Relove, like pre-loved, we're reloving it again. It's like giving whatever you're giving me on consignment a chance to shine again. So I love the name Relove.
That's amazing. Any of your kids named after they have any of this in it?
I have funny stories
or vice versa
about my kids' names. I don't know if I should share that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Xander Wynn, Wynn as in the Wynn Hotel in Las Vegas.
Very nice.
Okay. And then my son, Zach West, we were in West Palm Beach at a Chris Stapleton concert. So his middle name is West.
One day you're going to share that with Mom.
Yeah.
All right. And how about the other one?
Zane Lux, I just threw a weird middle name in there to add to the weirdness, but that doesn't have a meaning. Actually, the name Zane means a gift from God.
And they are?
Yes.
Okay, so if you were going to give some advice to somebody, somebody that you really liked and you really wanted them to be successful, what might it be?
Don't get into business if you are not going to be resilient and not somebody that can give up quickly. And if business is up and down every single day, it could be a really good day or a really good morning and a really bad end of the night. So you have to be the type of person that can bounce back from that. And every day is another day. So
let's talk about when you have those what you considered a failure. Let's say you made something and it just didn't turn out the way you wanted it or anybody else. You take it and you put it in the garbage and start again. But tell us about that process.
I think that, especially recently, I think that you have to learn from if you made a mistake or you learn from whatever the outcome was. There's always a learning lesson, but that's the life of an entrepreneur. You don't have like a book to follow of how to do something. So I think learning from your failures is what's going to make you more successful.
And agreed. And one of the things we've certainly seen, I know it's hard to imagine that at some point there was not an Instagram or a Facebook.
Right.
So what we've seen is so many more entrepreneurs are there because they don't have to go to a box, somebody's manufacturing plant or office to make a living. So there are millions of people making some money from some of their social media, certainly in communication.
Yeah.
So if you're going to tell somebody, listen, here's what I think you should do to promote you as a brand, you don't have to be selling anything, what would be a suggestion to them?
I think that you need to, as a business, know who your target audience is. If you're trying to sell to a mom, you need to be relatable. If you're trying to sell to a younger girl that is looking for a prom dress, you need to be relatable and see, what, based on your target audience, what they like to see. And there's a couple things that, emotional videos, there's motivational videos that you can make. I say videos because Reels is really big on Instagram right now. So I basically only do Reels, whether it be educational, motivational, or something funny to watch. So finding your target audience and then catering and nurturing that audience.
Let's see how you translate that. And when you sit down with a woman that walks in your store, what kind of questions do you ask her when she says, I need such and such? What's that conversation like? If
a client is coming to me because she's attending a wedding as a wedding guest, I ask her, where's the venue? They'll tell me Colombia, or they'll tell me here in Miami. And based on that, is it formal? Is it semi-formal? Based on their body type, I'm able to guide them. If they come in with inspiration, I'll tell them why this design won't work, or I'll tell them, yes, this design is amazing, and I'll guide them with all the fabric that I have and taking measurements. So I do ask a couple of questions to understand the person and the things that they like, but then also let them know that based on their body type or the fabric that they like, that they might be limited. So it really just depends on the design. I guide them the whole way.
Can you be open with somebody she's having a hard time getting into the dress and being able to have that conversation?
I do offer in-house seamstress services. So if I have a dress that's a size small, but this person is a size large, I can remove the zipper and make it a corset in the back. And women that are listening to this will know what I'm saying. I could remove a zipper and do like a tie in the back. So there's things that when you go to a normal store, they don't offer these things. So they might lose the client because they won't fit into the dress. But I make the client
So you
fit.
don't make the cloth with a little zipper. You leave the space in it. Who would
We
ever
can
thought?
sew you into it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you also have some clients that bring back the dress and I want to relove it.
Right.
Let somebody else give them a chance. So when they walk in the store and they bring it back to you, what's that conversation like?
I love the dress, but it's usually the mom that she knows that her daughter is not going to wear the dress again. She graduated high school and it's just going to sit in her closet, and she'll say, let's sell it. And, there's a commission split. So I'm making the money again, but at least they get some money back. So
do any boyfriends, husbands come into the store with their spouses?
Sometimes, but it's not usually these husbands and boyfriends. They don't know about how much we're actually charging our clients.
That was the lead in.
So yeah, my clients are very secretive. So they'll maybe sometimes even split the card because the husband won't know.
When I got married a long time ago, I forget what the price was.
Yeah.
But I was still astonished back then. So there's a whole range of pricing on that because the labor isn't necessarily different, right? But based on the material, the designs they want. So people should, before they go somewhere, they should have a good idea and the range.
Right. Depending on what the items are, if it's a client that's going to a wedding, it could range between $600 to $800, but including fabric, where my competitors are starting at $1,500, not including fabric.
So other than the dress per se, are there extra things that people want to have connected to their dress?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Maybe
a veil. Yeah, I mean, I make custom veils. I do, but no, not necessarily. Sometimes they'll buy. I have a client right now she bought a wedding dress and now she does want to add things to it. So it's not the work that I usually do because I make the dresses, or we manufacture the dresses from start to finish, but I do have a couple clients that want to do some tweaks. And
so if somebody brings in a wedding dress, they go, listen, I'm 30 pounds lighter than before. I'm getting me married for the second time. I want to use the same dress, but I'm not going to tell them.
I will only do that if they purchase the dress from me because I don't do alterations. I'm not a seamstress that do alterations. So if it's a client that purchased a dress from me and she lost 30 pounds, then we will do the alterations. But other than that, I send them to a seamstress.
Wonderful. You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
All right. What I'd like you to do is, why don't you look right into this camera right over here? Alex is going to point it right over here, this blue one over here. Why don't you thank your mother?
Thank you, Mommy. And also my husband. My husband is a big support. And my dad.
All right. And your 3 kids.
And my 3 kids.
3 boys.
Yes.
Infant, a little bigger.
And a little bigger.
Genevieve, it's a pleasure
talking with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Success and being a great role model for so many people.
Thank you.
And people don't have to be young to go into business. They can say at some point, hey, I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. Right. This is what I want to do.
I wanted to be in medicine. Look at where I ended up.
Yes. Genevieve, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. And people can visit you on the website, or they can go to Instagram and they can find you all over the place.
Yes.
All right. And let's look into the red camera right over here. And folks, remember, take care of yourselves and your family. Have a good day. Bye now.